Hi, my name is Miles Thompson, and this is my talk, Understanding Money on the Social Network, in which I will try to explore what money is from a social network game theory type perspective. Let's motivate this by asking, who needs money anyway? I guess, we don't need no stinky money. We just make stuff for each other and share it around, and we all go to work and things will be fine. In practice, though, there's always this problem. Who's going to go first? Who's going to take the chance, make something, and hope they're going to get something back? Now let's introduce some money. And let's just give this money to Joe. We'll work out where the money came from later, but let's start with Joe's got some money. Okay, so now he uses that money to buy something. The money then buys something else. Finally, Joe's going to do his part. He's going to make something else. He's got his money back where it started. What's interesting is Joe can't eat the money. The money's not doing any good, other than it's providing a kind of a sequencing to the trade that actually helps us eat, live, survive, whatever. Okay, so now let's look at the origin of money. Where did money first come from in an historical sense? These beads are 82,000 years old. They were dug up from a cave in the south of France. You have to ask yourself, why would a caveman, or a woman, spend hours and hours making these beads when they're probably starving and their kids are dying left, right, and center? The anthropologists explain that with what they call intergenerational reciprocity, which is basically what they're saying is, one family does a favor for another, and they get paid in these beads, and then the next generation can ask for that favor back by using the beads to pay for the return of the favor. And so the families where this desire to have these beads was prevalent, they were enabled to have a mutual aid system going within the tribe or the clan or the group that shared the same genes. So as a result, we're kind of genetically predisposed to want shiny things, which I think explains a lot. Anyway, there is another idea as to the origin of money, which is that it evolved out of barter. Of course, barter is still taking place. Here's a photo from Bolivia. These women in this village in Bolivia, they don't need no stinking money. They just trade directly with barter. But barter can evolve into a kind of money as well. So let's examine barter. We all know what barter is. Basically, it's like you have something I want, I have something you want. We swap, everybody's happy. Now, of course, that has some problems. Economists call that the double coincidence of wants. We can't have barter unless both you have something I want and I have something you want at the same time in the same place. So it's not as efficient as a money-based system. But let's examine what I call the substitute trade, which, let's say I have some fish and I want some wheat, but you don't actually have wheat, not just yet. So Sarah over here has some coconuts, and what I do is I trade my fish for the coconuts, even though I don't like coconuts, just so that I have some coconuts later on when your wheat comes in, and then I can trade the coconuts for the wheat. So let's just think about this. What's happened here? I wanted to actually eat the bread. As to whether you wanted the coconuts for trade or to eat them, we don't know, but we know that I wanted the coconuts because I believed that I could then trade them for something later on. So I have traded my fish for coconuts because the coconuts have value to me as an exchange commodity. So this is the start of money, isn't it? So in any given market, you can kind of say that a particular item has value in that market in terms of what you can trade it for, based both on its use value, what it's actually useful for, but also on its exchange value, how likely it is that I can use it to exchange for something else later on. For example, let's say I'm in Africa somewhere and there's a lot of people trading cows. I might not like cows, but I might accept some cows in exchange for something just because I know I can go down to the market and trade the cows later on. So there's a small exchange value that makes that cow even more valuable than just a cow. So you kind of imagine here we have a marketplace where people are trading different commodities and they're swapping them, and some of them are going off and some of them are not. There is kind of a competition between the different commodities as to which one will become the one preferred for exchange. And certain commodities might be easier to carry, they might be easier to break up into pieces, they might last and not go off like my fish, and they might have this property that they're hard to replace. So let's say that someone just starts picking some commodity, let's say gold, and they would start thinking that'll be a good thing to have in my pocket because I can exchange it for something later. So as a result, people start wanting that, and then the market demand for that goes up, which actually increases the exchange value for that, and then even more people want to use it as a substitute trade, which brings up the market demand, and so we go round and round this loop, and that's kind of a strong attractor. There's a basin of attraction towards this one commodity pushing out all the others. Historically, that has happened with gold, and in certain contexts, it can happen with other commodities. In Russia, after the ruble crisis, I guess there wasn't much gold around, but apparently the people started trading shoes. Sneakers and boxes were being traded in markets left, right, and centre. And not because people wanted sneakers, but because sneakers were easy to carry, they were easy to break up. They're in boxes, they're easy to move around. So apparently sneakers became a bit of a preferred commodity when Russia broke down and started wanting to have just a kind of barter market. And obviously in prison, people aren't allowed to have money, they start trading things for cigarettes. And this has actually been shown mathematically. There's this great paper by Mr. Nobuhiro Kiyotaki, amongst others, who shows how one commodity can emerge out of a trading market as the commodity that people prefer, and it's called a Nash equilibrium. It's all mathematical, but basically this is why we like gold. There's nothing intrinsically valuable about gold. It's just that we like it because other people like it. So it's kind of a perpetual tulip sort of speculators market on gold. It did for a long time. But that's gold. Now we are going to look at another type of money, which I'm calling two-sided money, or debt-based money, which is a very interesting question, but we'll have to wait for another day. This presentation has 3 parts. This is the first part. I think I'll upload it as is, and welcome your comments. Thank you very much. This is Miles Thompson coming to you from Waikariki.